Okay, so Danica has finally made it to Casa Amor, and I absolutely love that for her. She's had her eye on Josh, and Josh has had his eye on her as well. However, I'm a little bit disappointed because it just seems like she's getting a bit of a lukewarm reception from him, and I'm a bit concerned that a connection between them possibly might not happen. And there are a few reasons that I've pegged for this. Now, the first one is that in a conversation with the other guys, someone, Danica did speak about her having been, shot down a lot by the boys. And obviously, these guys in Casa Amor have seen those constant rejections. Now, I would compare Danica to like a massive blazing bonfire who, came into the villa. She was all flames, she was all ablaze. And then I think with each rejection, what happened is, as she kept getting shot down by each guy, the flames kept getting put out. Her fire hasn't been fed at all. She's out of flames. And I fear that because of this, the other guys might not be interested. At the end of the day, humans are social animals, and I think that men like women who are seen to be desired by other men and are considered to be in demand. And at the moment, that's not Danica or Danica, and it concerns me that it's almost like a domino effect. I'm really hoping that there's not a domino effect in the house at the moment. Now everyone's getting to know each other, but she did sit down and speak to Josh, and um, it just wasn't the sparks that I thought might fly, or that initial attraction that I thought might fly. She seems to be quite into him. That at one point she was saying, oh, can I stay with you? Can I stay with you, please? And talking about being in the same bed. And for some reason, he's ended up sleeping with Gemma, which seems really weird. There's no connection between him and Gemma, so obviously we don't know how it's been edited or what's led to that. But yeah, it's just a bit odd. Also, they're the same age. I believe that Josh is 22 and he's a model from Essex. She's 22 and she is a dancer. So you'd think they'd have loads in common. However, I think there's a maturity gap between them. Danica really carries herself like a lady. She's sophisticated. She's like very womanly. And Josh hasn't even been in a relationship before. He's very baby faced. He's like a spring chicken, and he's an absolute baby. And I think that Danica really deserves romance and to be swept off her feet, and I don't think he can give her that. I mean, at the moment he's not even giving her a good grafting. He doesn't really seem to be doing much grafting. He's a pretty boy, he's a model, he's used to that attention being placed on him. Probably he's used to girls probably lining up for his attention, and him not really having to do much work. And also you do often find that that is a characteristic of kind of young pretty boys, where they expect the girls to do the work. So this isn't the match made in heaven that I wanted for Danica at all. And I'm a bit concerned that it might fizzle out and she might not leave with anyone. Now, it's not just Danica that I feel is kind of mismatched with the guys. I think generally the new Casa Amor guys, there might be one or two, maybe one that is probably kind of manly and mature enough. These seem like really baby faced lads. They seem quite young, not as serious, and not really, if I'm being honest, they're really less handsome than the guys in the villa. And I think that's deliberate again on the part of the producers, on the producing team. I think that they are manipulating what happens at Casa Amor. I do believe because of this, because there aren't any kind of real bombshell type of guys in that Casa Amor villa, that most of the girls will probably end up being loyal and going back to their guys that they're coupled up with. I mean, Ekin-Su, I think, is playing a game. She kept saying, "Oh well, nobody's in a, in a real couple. Everyone's single." But really, Ekin-Su, she's stunning. She's an actress. She's not coupling up with one of these kind of baby-faced guys in this villa over someone like Luca. There's no way. You can see it. I think she's just, she's playing along nicely. Playing the game, as it were, to kind of move things along. There's no way someone like her is coupling up with any of these guys in this villa. I feel like likewise with Gemma, she's not really going to risk it for someone that she feels as connected to as Luca, even though I wouldn't say that he's more into her, definitely. But these guys, I'm sorry, they're very, very lukewarm, kind of quite average. I don't think that many will have their heads turned. I think the only one is Tasha, because Tasha has shown herself to just generally be disloyal, and if she's messing Andrew about, her head might turn. I don't necessarily, maybe Paige, I don't know though. I really don't see that happening. The guys in the other house, on the other hand, I think that the producers have deliberately chosen kind of better looking girls for Casa Amor, or sorry, for the villa, than guys are in Casa Amor, and so that's obviously going to create a lot of tension when it comes to, who couples up with anyone else, etc. But I do think there's definitely a mismatch, but I think that's deliberate. The lads in Casa Amor are not really. I don't think they're leveled up with the girls in terms of kind of looks wise or maturity or that kind of hunkiness that guys like, say, maybe, Jay, and especially like Jay and Davide, they've got that look, haven't they, of kind of model looks, really conventionally good looking masculine bodies, etc. And I just don't think that the guys in Casa Amor have that at all. They're kind of baby-faced lads who seem lovely, but I don't think they're contenders for the guys in the villa. Now, one thing I really wanted to touch upon, because I find this really interesting, is the social interaction between Paige and Danica, and how it has been reversed and switched around magically now that they're in Casa Amor. Obviously, without the influence of, Jay and Luca, who, people have accused of being bullies. They have, been unpleasant to some of the girls, and I think that has affected the way in which the girls that they're coupled up with behave towards others, such as Ekin-Su and Danica. Now, like I said the other night, Paige was absolutely disgusting in her attitude towards Danica when she was saved by the boys over Antigone. And as you can see here now that she's made it to Casa Amor, she doesn't have that influence of Antigone. She doesn't have that influence of Jax or Luca saying nasty things and giving nasty vibes towards Danica. And all of a sudden, it's all laughs and smiles and, gently. I think that's very hypocritical, but it's really interesting. It shows you how social groupings work, and how when you take certain people out of the equation who are the instigators of certain energies towards others that's unpleasant, you can see that some people can be swayed and neutralized to actually being reasonable and a lot warmer. So while I'm not going to give Paige props, for kind of softening up with Danica, they're not competing for the same guys in Casa Amor. It's really interesting to see that social dynamic and see it kind of settle down a bit. I think also with it being a new environment for all of the girls, they're probably all just quite anxious in that new environment, and so Paige has calmed down a lot. And I'm telling you, she needed to calm down. She was really getting, I think, quite kind of kind of low-key aggressive towards Danica, and it's not been right, and it's not been nice to watch. So yeah, really interesting to see that dynamic soften up between the girls, and that ganging up to stop. So I just wanted to know, what do you think about this Casa Amor situation with the girls? Are there any potential couplings and any shockers where you think the girls' heads might be turned and they might return with someone else? Or do you think they're all safe? Me personally, I feel like the guys are I don't think they're strong enough. I think some of them have strong personalities, but in terms of the attraction, I feel like production have deliberately put guys that are less attractive than the guys in the actual villa for a reason. Whether that's reciprocated by the guys in the villa and whether their heads are turned is a different story. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Please do like and subscribe to my channel.